First at noon, Hokulea and Hikianalia are on their way to Tahiti, ready to restart their Moana Nui Akea Pacific-wide voyage. The canoes launched from Hilo this morning after a slight delay because of the weather. Dillon Ancheta was there.
It is departure day for Hokulea and Hikianalia. Now, after some delays, they pushed back their delay to today, Tuesday, and it is an absolutely beautiful day for these canoes to begin their voyage to Tahiti. This is the restart of the Moana Nui Akea Pacific-wide voyage. And across the bay, we have some people watching at Palekai. The crew members, Hikianalia is already off bay, and the members of Hokulea, they are a 7-member crew on this first journey. They have made their final preparations and are ready to go. We spoke with Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson shortly before he boarded. Here's what he said.
Departure is always hard. You know, it's hard to leave home. It's really hard to leave your family. And but you know, maybe make a promise that the voyages are going to be meaningful, primarily for me and my stage in my life, is that it's going to be a good thing for the future of my children. So being clear about our purpose, being clear of our mission, and believing that we can make a difference because we sail. So that's where we're at. It's just kind of personal, internal debate that's always somewhat at war inside of me about, I don't want to leave my family, I don't want to leave my home, but I have to.
Again, the first leg of this journey from Hawaii to Tahiti is expected to take about 3 weeks, but the journey overall is a 3-year voyage around the Pacific Ocean. We're going to have more on this coming up in later editions of Hawaii News Now, both on air and online. In Hilo, Hawaii, Dillon Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Dillon. A seismic leadership shakeup at the Honolulu Police Department. Chief Joe Logan is resigning after 3 years on the job. His last day will be June 30th. Now, during his time as chief, job vacancies at HPD went up 31%. Logan also upset the police union by returning about $45 million in city funding that the department did not spend. And there were numerous police events that ended with Logan promising to do a better job communicating with the public. Mayor Rick Blangiardi says the separation is amicable.
Well, it's not sudden, to be honest with you. This is a conversation that we've been having for quite some time. We had to get to a place where we both agreed that this was the best thing for the department going forward, and we've now come to that realization. So I'm not surprised by it at all.
Chief Logan released a statement thanking supporters and the department, saying in part, quote, "Over the last 3 years, crime has gone down, and we have made significant progress in moving the HPD forward. This would not be possible without the hard work, commitment, and creativity of our officers and civilian employees. Your dedication to serving and protecting the people of Oahu is inspiring and unequaled." And Mayor Blangiardi is recommending Hawaii County Police Chief Ben Moskowitz as the interim chief. Now, Moskowitz told us he's honored and has already submitted a letter of interest and his resume to the Honolulu Police Commission. Now, if approved, he's expected to take over in mid-July. Now, Moskowitz spent 22 years at the Honolulu Police Department and was one of 4 finalists for HPD Chief back in 2022 when Logan got the job. That's when he took the chief's post on the Big Island. Now, Hawaii County Mayor Kimo Alameda is making contingency plans. And the commission said it appreciates Mayor Blangiardi's nomination of Moskowitz as interim chief, but other qualified candidates are encouraged to apply by submitting a cover letter and resume. A Maui couple involved in a high-profile attempted murder trial want to keep their divorce case private, but the judge won't let them. Their lawyers are also objecting to media coverage, but the judge says cameras will be allowed. Chelsea Davis has more.
Ariel Koenig and her husband, Dr. Gerhard Koenig, appeared virtually for their divorce hearing Monday morning. The anesthesiologist, who is locked up at OCCC without bail, is accused of attacking his rocket scientist wife with needles and trying to push her off a cliff during a birthday trip to Oahu in March. Just a week before Dr. Koenig's attempted murder trial is set to begin, both he and Ariel asked the judge to seal their divorce case. Their attorneys objected to media coverage, stating the couple has 2 children under the age of 5 who will undoubtedly be exposed to local and national coverage. Here's law expert Philip Dubé.
In an effort to try to keep things just sort of on an even playing field without the fear of outside public sentiment, public outcry, you keep the cameras out of the courtroom and let the judge just maintain judicial independence on the bench without pressure from cameras. That's the argument.
The family court judge James Rouse denied the couple's request for privacy and ruled that cameras will be allowed.
The judge is really telegraphing that he can be fair, whether the cameras are rolling or not. He doesn't really care who's watching. He doesn't care if it's HD quality or IMAX, whatever camera quality it is. He doesn't care. It's not going to have any effect on how he rules. He's going to follow the letter of the law.
Judge Rouse said there is no law stating that divorce proceedings must be private, but he said he won't allow cameras when they're talking about the Koenig's children. And cameras will also be allowed at Dr. Koenig's criminal trial, which is expected to draw international attention. Reporting in Wailuku, I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
The Schofield soldier accused of killing his pregnant wife is expected to make a confession in military court today. The Army says Private First Class Dwayne Johnson II accepted a plea deal last week. A military judge will consider the deal during a hearing today. Johnson's 19-year-old wife, Misha, disappeared from their home last July. Her body was never found. Hawaii County prosecutors want UFC Hall of Famer BJ Penn to undergo a court-ordered mental health exam, but they'll have to wait until he's assigned a public defender. Penn is accused of assaulting his 79-year-old mother over the Memorial Day weekend. He has repeatedly claimed in public social media posts that his mom and other family members have been replaced by imposters. Now, the state can renew its request for a mental health review at Penn's next hearing on Friday. And we know now what triggered a dramatic arrest of a man on the H1 freeway, and it was all caught on camera. A dash camera captured a man running across multiple westbound lanes of the H1 just before 8:30 Monday morning. The 53-year-old tried to hop the median into fast-moving traffic, but at the last moment, 4 officers pulled him to the ground. It appears the man was just inches from being hit. HPD says the chase began when officers tried to stop him from walking in the shoulder lane. He's now facing a charge of disobeying officers' commands.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's that time of year we're watching the tropics and the eastern and central Pacific for the chance for the development of tropical storms and hurricanes. You can see out there over the next 7 days, this area in red has a 70% chance of developing into a named system, but no chance of developing over the next 48 hours. You can see as we're going forward in time, there's the development. It moves off towards the northwest and falls apart. We're not watching to see this impact the island chain at all, but we are keeping eyes on the eastern Pacific going forward. Of course, we're tracking the tropics very closely out there. We've already had Tropical Storm Alvin out there. That's been the first named storm. The next named storm would be Barbara. And of course, we've got a lot to go before the end of hurricane season. Out to our northeast, we've got a high pressure system causing breezy trades. I'll give you the breakdown on this and my full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Drew. The White House is moving forward with a plan to try to get back billions of dollars Congress approved in previous spending bills. Now, this comes as the president is lobbying to push a new spending package through the Senate that some in his own party oppose. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
President Trump wants Congress to cancel billions of dollars in funding it's already approved in order to make permanent spending cuts identified by his Department of Government Efficiency.
We've been working with the House to make sure it's in the best place to pass.
The White House is asking Congress to take back $9.4 billion in funds previously appropriated, including cuts to foreign aid through USAID and cuts to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which helps support NPR and PBS. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the House will move as quickly as possible to pass the bills.
There's an appetite amongst all House Republicans to cut wasteful spending. The outrageous things that were uncovered with DOGE and USAID, for example, is something that we've been anxious to handle and address.
While the White House works on the rescissions package, the Senate is moving forward with what the president calls his one big beautiful budget bill.
I think it's close. There are 3 or 4 of us who are very concerned about the spending and the debt ceiling.
Kentucky's Rand Paul is one of a handful of Republican senators who say the provision to raise the debt ceiling is too much.
They're planning on spending $5 trillion they don't have, and I'm just not for that.
Trump called out Paul and Wisconsin's Ron Johnson on social media for opposing the bill.
It's not news that they disagree with this president on policy, and the president has vocally called them out for it and for their not having their facts together.
The White House press secretary also dismissed criticisms from former advisor Elon Musk, who called the legislation a pork-filled, disgusting abomination. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
More bloodshed in Gaza as more people were killed near a food distribution site by Israeli fire. Now, the United Nations Human Rights Office described attacks on civilians trying to access food as unconscionable. Matt Bradley reports from Tel Aviv.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip said that at least 27 people had been killed and more than 160 were injured in that shooting this morning. Now, the IDF said in a statement this morning that its soldiers had fired warning shots at several individuals who were deviating from the line while approaching one of these new aid distribution centers. The statement then said that they followed up with direct shots at these suspects as they approached the soldiers' positions. And the IDF said that they were aware of reports of casualties and that the situation is now under review. But this is just the latest bloody confrontation for Palestinians who have been waiting in line at these new aid distribution centers. And this is part of a controversial new effort that's backed by the U.S. and Israel and replaces a program that had been run by the United Nations to deliver aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. But the Palestinian government media office in Gaza said that these new aid distribution centers now are like death traps. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Jerusalem.
Ahead on This Is Now, Hawaiian Electric wants to upgrade its infrastructure and technology to prevent wildfires, how its plans could impact your monthly bill. Plus, now that it's hurricane season, Casey Lund has tips on how you and your family can get prepared. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Hawaiian Electric's plans to reduce wildfire risk may increase your monthly bill. Now, HECO has filed a 3-year, $350 million plan with the Public Utilities Commission that focuses on adding new technology, infrastructure upgrades, and fire hazard mitigation. About $180 million of that will be spent mostly on Maui, which Hiko says is at the highest risk for wildfires. Now, if the plan's approved, the average monthly bill in Maui County will increase by $5 a month. Hawaii Island bills will rise $3 and $1 on Oahu. Hawaiian Electric is hoping the governor signs off on a bill passed by the legislature this year, which might allow Hiko to issue long-term bonds to pay for safety infrastructure work. Well, hurricane season is here, and now is the time to prepare. Casey Lund is at City Mills showing the tools and supplies you'll want to have on hand long before a storm hits.
Aloha from City Mill. This is what is great about this place. They put some of this stuff, especially right at the beginning of hurricane season, right front and center. So you get all kinds of things. You've got bungee cords, duct tape, plenty of the items that you should have, buckets, propane tanks, even a portable stove. But one of the reasons I love coming to City Mill, well, of course, is to see my friend Iris. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Now, the other thing is, it's cool to kind of look at what is new each year, new products, and then the standbys that you should, even a tarp. You should double check once in a while because those can deteriorate. You should make sure you have a good quality one, right? Walk us through.
And there are a lot of things you need to do before a hurricane. You want to not run to the store when everybody hears a hurricane warning and trying to get in there. So tarps are really important. If you have things that you want to make sure don't get wet, tie down, you want to make sure you have bungee cords to do it, even in your garage, because if you have a leak, you know, things are going to get wet. So you want to make sure you do all that, tie it down. You want to make sure you have duct tape. Duct tape is really important, especially if you have big windows. You want to make sure you tape your windows so that if it does break, it will break in pieces versus shatter. And those are the things you want to watch out for. Batteries, you want to make sure you have batteries because you may have lanterns and flashlights and then all of a sudden you look and the batteries are dead. And you want to make sure that you have enough batteries stored for all that stuff.
And then updating your first aid kit, because there's a lot of stuff in here that can go bad, right?
Oh yeah, you have antiseptic wipes, all that stuff that you want to make sure it still works. So you want to make sure you check your first aid kits, that you have everything you need and that they're still usable.
And then as we were talking about a couple of the, like I don't know, I love going to a hardware store and seeing what's new. These things are really cool.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what those do. You just throw them down.
This actually soaks up water and it absorbs it and they contain it so it's not going into your garage or your doorway or your door jamb. And this actually prevents water damage coming into your house because you know if you have carpet or wood floors, they're just going to get totally ruined if it gets water. Now we always have the standby. We have, you know, sandbags and stuff you can use. But if you really want to make sure that nothing gets in there, you might want to try these.
Yeah, very cool. And then of course your weather radio will play emergency alerts, things like that. And it also acts as a charger, a light. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, there's one thing you always should have is a radio handy.
Very good.
And crank radios are the best because you don't have to make sure the battery is actually working for that.
And you get a little exercise too.
It's kind of zen. You can sit there and do that and worry about everything else, right?
Very good, Iris. Well, that's the idea is trying to help you worry less and keep your family safe. So City Mill is a great place to come and do that. Iris, thank you so much for being with us again today. A reminder that we want to put the details up on your screen for tonight. The Hurricane Special, the 2025 Hurricane Season Outlook Special is airing 6:30 on KGMB. Now, it's going to air tomorrow on KHNL and then Thursday on K5. Our First Alert weather team been working really hard to put that special together for you. Make sure you join us for that on those evenings. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Hey, thanks, Casey. We've been putting a lot of hard work into that special. Make sure to tune in tonight at 6:30 on KGMB. I've got your full forecast coming up after the break.
First Alert weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Again, hurricane season started just a few days ago, June 1st, not January 1st. Let's take a look. Breezy trades and a few showers are out there throughout the rest of this week. A really typical summer-like pattern out there. And just taking a quick look at our island-by-island forecast. This is for tomorrow. A couple of spotty showers are possible for Kauai, mostly over windward areas. The trade winds keeping a little bit of moisture over the windward side of each island, and mostly sunny out there. Breezy across the entire state. East-northeasterlies between 15 to 20 miles per hour on Oahu. Some wind gusts getting closer to 25. 87 in town. Maui County mostly sunny and gusting closer to 25 miles per hour. 87 in Kahului and 87 in Kihei. So a little bit warm out there throughout the afternoon. Kailua Kona around 85. Still seeing a little bit of fog in the air, around 85 in both Kailua Kona and Captain Cook. A little bit warmer over in Waikoloa tomorrow. 83 in Hilo, isolated showers and mostly sunny conditions. And moving up to the northern portions of Hawaii Island, northeasterlies between 15 to 20 miles per hour. A little bit cooler in Waimea tomorrow. Breaking down your first alert radar and satellite. Not much going on outside right now. Relatively quiet, but we do have high pressure off to our northeast, causing this typical summer-like pattern out there. Zooming in a little bit closer to Oahu over the last hour or so, we've had a little bit of moisture moving in along the trade winds and a little shower up over the northwestern part of the island right now. Maui, relatively quiet, a little bit of cloud cover over near Hana. Sunny all across the rest of Maui County. A few showers moving in towards the eastern portions of Hawaii Island, and windy enough out there to where we're seeing these wind returns on the first alert radar and satellite. That's just sea salt and sea spray getting lofted up by these breezy trades, high enough to where it's getting picked up by our first alert radar and satellite. We've got high pressure again off to our northeast. The clockwise circulation of air around it's causing this trade wind pattern out there. Breezy, 18-mile-per-hour winds out of the northeast in town. A little bit stronger in Kahului, around 25 miles per hour, and even breezy over in Kailua Kona with these Kona winds, so a little bit humid out there. You can see in our first alert futurecast going forward, a little bit of cloud cover overnight. We'll be breaking up the clouds as we go into Wednesday afternoon. Still not much rainfall expected out there. Our surf and shoreline forecast, north-facing shores around 1 to 3, west-facing shores 0 to 2, and choppy out there, getting bigger on east-facing shores because of these breezy trades. And here's just a quick glimpse at our first alert 7-day forecast. The next couple of days, we've got really nice weather, sunny conditions expected on Friday and Saturday. And of course, again, make sure to tune in to our first alert hurricane season 2025 special tonight at 6:30 p.m. on KGMB. Our entire team has been putting a lot of hard work into it, getting you prepared for hurricane season. Only takes one storm for it to be a bad hurricane season.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, talk about a photo finish, the amazing recovery by an Oregon hurdler after a tumble on the track. We'll be right back. a pet zebra is on the loose in Tennessee and it's become quite the social media star. The animal has been spotted galloping down the road. It was seen trotting through a neighborhood from a home security camera. And apparently zebras are allowed as a pet in the state of Tennessee. Now, the owner said he just got the zebra on Friday and it went missing the next day. Experts say zebras cannot be domesticated and that they are clearly unpredictable.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
The Stanley Cup final begins this week as the Florida Panthers take on the Edmonton Oilers.
And if you're less of a hockey fan, more of an animal fan, the NHL has you covered. Check it out.
Meet this year's contestants in the Stanley Cup. The event will air before Game 2 is played Friday. Current and former NHL players will introduce 32 adorable rescue dogs, each representing an NHL team. The pups will then show off their skills on the ice in hopes of impressing potential adopters.
Aww.
And you've heard the saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
That's right. Check out what happened at the Oregon High School Track and Field State Championships over the weekend. A hurdler named Brooklyn Anderson built up a big lead in the 100-meter hurdles event, but she clipped the last hurdle, sending her into an involuntary somersault. Now, once on the ground, the former gymnast, thank goodness, threw in another perfect somersault to get across the line, barely winning the race. Now, the crowd and her competitors both loved the creativity. Let's see that again.
I gotta say, that is really impressive.
I used to run the hurdles in high school, and I have eaten it, and I don't look like that.
One of my good friends here ran hurdles for high school in Arizona, and she showed us a video of her falling.
Yeah.
It looks like it hurts a lot.
Yeah, not that graceful. So good for her.
Yeah.
All right, let's take one last look outside before we say goodbye. Beautiful conditions on this Aloha Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching This Is Now. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL.